Anyone want to take a guess at which bike frame is in this box? I'll give you 3 hints. The first is that it's black and white. The second is that it's a gravel bike. And third, it's a bike that I've owned before. See, it all started with a simple text and a photo of a frame that I had seen only once online, but never in person. I asked a few questions, got all the right answers, and just like that, I was back on the Crux, but maybe not for the reasons you'd think. The first reason I'm back on the Crux is simply due to the versatility of this bike. I mean, with the 40mm Pirelli Race TLRs, it's an exceptionally capable road bike. Not a race bike, but a road bike. I think that's an important distinction that helps manage performance expectations. Because of the tire clearance, even the 40mm tires look like they're swimming in the front fork. Now, eventually I'll put 42 or 44mm tires on it and give it the proper gravel treatment. And I'd really like to compare this bike to a modern cross-country mountain bike. I think that'd be a good conversation, maybe a video for another day. The second reason I'm back on the Crux is that it's now UDH compatible with the UDH Dropout. This means that I can use the new 13-speed SRAM Red 1x Explorer group. That was one of my sticking points with the original Crux. It wasn't compatible with the upcoming group sets. Another sticking point with my original Crux is that the whole build was kind of a Frankenstein build. I like to start from the frame up and build a bike exactly how I want it. I want to pick my wheels, my drivetrain, my bar, my stem, my seat post, my bottle cages. I want to make it unique to me. Maybe you feel the same. My original Crux was also a product of hand-me-downs from other bikes. I had originally bought a Cervelo Aspero, I used it for a little while, and then I was intrigued by the open upper, so I stripped the Aspero, I built up the upper, and then I moved to the Crux. The result was a 1x mullet build with Zip 303s first, and then reserve wheels, both of which were great. And then I had these Easton bars kind of on the Crux the whole time, and they never really felt quite right. I had a Zip stem at one point, and then later I had an SL7 stem, and then I entered the 2x era, and that brought a ton of changes with it. And while it was great, the new 1x Explorer group is so dang good. And if I'm being honest with myself, I think the old 1x Explorer group was also fantastic. I was just firmly planted in that 2x or double chainring camp because I wanted to be able to do everything on my Crux without any compromises. And spoiler, there are always compromises when you make changes to a bike. And if that's not enough, I never really cared for that original frame color. Maybe I did initially because it was unique, but if you've seen any of my old videos, you know that my preference for a bike is a black frame with white logos. Just ask any of my friends who simply roll their eyes when they see my text in the group chat proposing a non-black and white frame. They'll respond, but it's not black and white, you'll hate it. Now maybe that's boring, but it's what I like. And heck, I think I wear enough loud kits to make up for the mundane frame choices. And then there's the nostalgia piece, and hopefully I don't lose you here. Heck, if you made it this far, thank you. There was a short window in my life when I had this incredible flexibility with work, no kids in school. It was kind of like the classic COVID era flexibility that seemed to sweep the United States. I traveled a ton and brought the Crux everywhere with me. I'd wake up early and quietly sneak out of the van and explore whatever was around me. I loved it. To bring a more personal element into the story, the days before my dad passed away a few years ago, I found myself on nonstop phone calls with doctors, family, friends, thinking through tough decisions and outcomes as one does during those types of situations. It was the impromptu Crux rides up American Fork Canyon in places like Utah that helped me clear my head, helping me sort through the challenges of the day. It's never just a bike, is it? I was so wrong about the Crux. I didn't think I'd miss it, but I did. And in some ways, I feel like I've come full circle 3 years after seeing Neil's original post about his Crux. He's really the original Crux guy. Whatever the case and however it's played out, I'm happy to be here. If you like this video, I'll post my old build videos of the Cervelo Aspero, the Open Upper, the first Crux, the NV Mog, and the NV Frey, all of which have been great bikes and all of which have been in what I would consider to be the fast category of gravel bikes. You'll see in those videos a progression of starting with shallow wheels, then going deep and ultimately landing kind of in the middle with the Reserve 4044s with the DT Swiss 180 hubs. There are also some rookie moves that I made along the way, like using an Eagle chain with the 1x setup, then going to 2x and keeping that same chain. It was a pretty poor experience. I also maxed out the chainring size on the Crux with the 5037, and I later dialed it back to a 4835 with a 1036 cassette. That's where I kind of found a little bit of a sweet spot. Anyways, we'll dive deeper into the new build in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching, and until next time.